Hey 7th graders, today we're going to learn about artificial selection and GMOs. So your learning targets for today, I can differentiate between natural selection and artificial selection. So we've learned so far everything this year has been about natural selection, but what about artificial selection? So you guys will learn what that is and how it's a pretty common thing in your day-to-day lives, especially if any of you guys own any pets. Okay, and then finally I can explain the pros and cons of GMOs. So at this point, maybe you've heard about GMOs. Maybe you've heard good things about GMOs or bad things. We're going to kind of clear up some of those misconceptions about what GMOs are, and then what are some great things about GMOs and what potentially could be some bad things about GMOs. Okay, all right, moving on. Let's first talk part one about artificial selection. So 2 videos I want you guys to watch today. Go ahead, right click and open those up. The first one is called selective breeding, which is another term for artificial selection. So go ahead and watch that. It goes into what selective breeding is and how we see it every day in our life. Okay, especially those of you guys who are associated with any kind of farming or agriculture. So it looks a little bit something like this. Okay, so watch that video. It's fairly short. And then this one's a great one. It focuses in a little bit more on animals or pets, especially dogs, and how we came to have domesticated dogs and how we have used selective breeding to choose kind of what traits that we want. So if we have like a wiener dog or a dachshund, those traits, why did we breed that dog for that purpose? Golden retriever, why did we bring that dog for that purpose? Greyhounds, stuff like that. So you really get to learn about dogs, which leads us into our next activity well. So go ahead, take a second to watch that as well. Okay, and then we're going to move on to our activity where you guys are going to play the role of a dog breeder. So you have been contracted by a scientist who wants dogs that can be used to see and retrieve waterfowl, so different things like ducks and geese, from lakes in the area so the birds can be tagged and released. So we did processes like this early when we did ecology. We learned how scientists use different methods to count populations of animals in an area. This could be a different method where you guys send a dog out to catch a duck. It would have to be a live duck, obviously, because they'd want to release it into the wild and go see what it does with its life, so they could possibly count it for population numbers or just track behaviors and patterns. So obviously this dog would have the ability to be stealthy enough to sneak up on these live birds, catch them without hurting them, and then bring them back to the scientist so the scientist could tag them and release them. So the birds are very skittish, they scare very easily, and must be retrieved unharmed and with minimum amount of stress. So if it gets stressed too much, that obviously could affect the health of the bird. So the dog would have to be really careful to not hurt the bird and to bring it back gently so as to not stress the bird. Okay, so you are going to be the dog breeder here, figuring out which traits in these dogs would be best to have as an animal that could help you retrieve these ducks. So part 1, desired feature of the new breed. So for each feature below, circle the desired form you ideally want your dogs to have. For features that you do not think will affect your breed's ability to perform the given task, circle any. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. So you have 2 different categories that you're going to be looking at. First and foremost is physical traits. So you guys can see here that you have physical features like smell. Do you want your dog to have above average smell, below average smell, or any? It doesn't really matter. So if I don't think smell in this dog is going to matter at all, I would highlight any. Okay. If I feel it needs above average smell for this job to be good at this job, then I would highlight above average, so on and so forth. Okay. So go through each of these traits: sight, hearing, speed, endurance, strength, coat color, and hair length. Okay. Circle or highlight whichever one of these 4 traits you guys think is important to have a dog that could do this job of catching waterfowl live, bringing them back unharmed so they can be tagged and released. Okay, the next one that you're going to look at it on is on slide 5, and it's behavioral features. So trainability, that's how easy it is to train that dog. Okay, it's high trainability, meaning that's super easy to train. You guys can train that dog very well. Low trainability, really hard to train, or if you don't think that matters, circle any. Disposition, it's kind of its mood, its attitude. If it's vicious, obviously it's a mean dog. Compatible, it gets along well. Meek, it's a really shy dog. Or if you don't think that disposition would be a necessary trait at all, circle any. And then bark, how loud do you think its bark should be? Again, if you don't feel that bark is going to help that dog at all, then you guys would circle any on that. Okay? Then what you guys are going to do is you're going to take a look at these 6 breeds of dogs here. So we've got breed A is a Tally Collie, breed B is a Floxich, breed C is a Goodigan, breed D is a Spalling, breed E is a Cruxstick, and breed F is a Horvisianer. I don't know if these are real breeds. Okay, at any rate, you guys can read about the different traits that we see in each of these 6 breeds. So for instance, this Tally Collie has above average smell, sight is average, hearing is above average, speed is average, endurance below average, strength above average, coat color is black, hair length is long, trainability is average, disposition is meek, so it's kind of a shy dog, and its bark is an average volume. Okay, so you're going to read through any of those or all of these different breeds, and you're going to choose 2 that you think would be the parents. Okay, it doesn't matter which you designate as the male or the female. So go ahead and choose one. Maybe I think this one should be the mom. Okay, I'm going to circle that pink, and then whatever one I think should be the dad, I'm going to circle blue. Okay, so choose your 2 parents. Again, it doesn't matter which one you circle as the mom or the dad, but make sure you do designate one as the mom and one as the dad. Again, it doesn't matter which breed you choose as each. Again, you're choosing the breeds anyway, so that's totally fine. Okay, and then go ahead and tell me right here, what are the 2 breeds you chose? Okay, explain why you chose those. And then which 2 traits do you think are the most important for your dog breeds to inherit? So you're going to look at all of these traits between the physical features and the behavioral features and choose the 2 that you think are the most important. Okay, so tell me which 2 do you think are the most important there. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take your 2 parents, your mom and your dad dog, and we're going to produce 3 puppies and see which puppy you think is going to be best suited for the job. So this is kind of similar to an activity that we did back in genetics. So what you're going to do for this is we're going to go to our thing here, and the first trait we're going to look at is smell. So if mom is above average and dad is average, we're going to go ahead and flip a coin, and we're going to figure out which each of these puppies are going to be. So you guys can, if you have a coin at home, you guys can use that. If you don't have a coin and you guys want to go new school, you guys can use this little link right here and say, all right, my first puppy, I chose heads for this. Okay, heads means the father's trait, so I'm going to go look at my table and say, all right, that first puppy is going to have an average smell. So in here, I would type in puppy 1, average. Okay, then I'm going to flip my coin again to see what my puppy 2 is going to have for smell. Tails. Tails is the mother's traits. The mother was above average. Okay, and then puppy 3 is going to be, oops. Puppy 3, again, you'll flip the coin the 3rd time. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller for you guys. Okay, and then puppy 3, again, you're going to flip a 3rd time. And again, tails, so it would have mom's trait, which was above average. Okay, you guys are going to do this 3 times for all of these traits and for your behavioral traits on slide 9. So again, your little key is down here. You guys can use your own coin at home, or you can use this little coin flip. And then you'll just have to keep going back up and referencing sight. All right, both of these are average. We probably don't need to flip a coin to know that each puppy is going to be average. Okay, and again, you guys probably chose something different than just the first 2. I just picked these randomly. So again, you guys are going to choose the 2 that you think are going to do the job best. And it probably isn't going to be my first 2 breeds. I don't know. I really haven't looked at the traits well enough to say either way. Okay, and then go ahead and again fill out these tables here so you know kind of what all your puppies will look like. Okay, once you guys have all of these filled out for each of the puppies, you're going to go ahead and take a look at each individual puppy and compare them. All right, between puppy 1, puppy 2, and puppy 3, which one do you think has the best traits from those 2 parents? You picked the 2 parents that you thought were best, but which one has the best traits? Puppy 1, puppy 2, or puppy 3? Okay, so you'll go ahead and answer this question here. Compare the 3 puppies. Are they identical? Why or why not? Which of the resulting puppies do you think will best serve the assigned task? So which one do you think is going to be the best at going out, catching these live waterfowl unharmed, and then bringing them back without stressing those waterfowl out? Okay, and then if you were able to conduct the dog breeding for another generation, which pups would you select to be the parents of the next generation? Okay. All right, moving on, let's talk part 2, genetically modified organisms. So first and foremost, you guys are going to read this article here called Genetically Modified Organisms. Okay, so you guys have some little scenarios to think about where genetically modified organisms might come in, why it might be handy. You'll learn what a genetically modified organism is and how they're put together. And then finally, you guys will learn about some risks and some benefits of GMOs. Okay, so read this article and answer these 3 questions here. What is a GMO? What are some benefits of GMO? So list them, use your own words, please. And what are some risks of GMO? List as many as you can from that article. And again, please use your own words. Okay, and then watch this. Are GMOs good or bad? It looks like this. Okay. All right, finally, since this is a 100-minute class and this is the only assignment you have today, you guys have this little video to watch called Animal Farm. Notice the PH is spelled a little bit different. Basically what we're looking at in this video is all kinds of GMOs, so where we take genes from another organism and implant them in. You guys will see a lot about GMOs when we learn about bunnies that can glow in the dark. You can learn a little bit about transgenics and cloning, and then also just artificial selection. So the first organism you learn about in this is this massive bull that's big and meaty, and they talk about how they used artificial selection to basically choose animals that had these excessively muscular traits, and how they use those to breed these, I think they're called like Dutch blue cows or something like that, Belgian blue cows. They're ridiculously huge. I apologize for the scene where they do the breeding. That's a little awkward for 7th graders, but it's in there and it's life, so let's learn about it, I suppose. Okay, so go ahead and watch that. If you guys would like extra credit, you can take a page of notes, full page, one-sided. If you guys are at home, you guys can do this in Word and send it to me. You guys can do it and attach it on here. You could take a picture and attach it on here, or you guys can just send it to me in a chat, and I can get that extra credit in that way. Okay, when you guys are done, go ahead and hand this in, and I hope you're having a great day and learned something today. Talk to you soon. Bye.